Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be discussing the Greenskins and their upcoming rework in Total War Warhammer 2. We've speculated, we've looked online, and we've also spoken to a bunch of Greenskin fans. And we feel that we've compiled a decent list of changes that could be possible in the upcoming Greenskin rework. It is important to note that this is obviously fan speculation, and we still don't know anything regarding the Greenskin rework that has been confirmed to be next. And before we begin, I just want to note that we'll be talking about new mechanics and so on, not new units and legendary lords. Instead, we'll talk about that in another day. But without wasting any more time, let's begin. The Greenskins, a great faction which unfortunately fell behind on the update trail. This is a race that is dedicated to pure brute strength, but unfortunately nowadays they are one of the weaker factions in Total War Warhammer in the Mortal Empires. That being said, a few changes could come to effect and actually make the Orcs and Goblins the powerhouse they're supposed to be. Currently, the Orcs and Goblins play very similar to any other race. However, we've come up with some ideas that might make them more unique. First is a complete overhaul of the fightiness mechanic. For those not aware, fightiness is essentially a resource that you build up with each individual army. You get more fightiness by winning battles, and you lose fightiness by either losing battles or staying completely still and not actually getting into fights. Maxing out your fightiness bar will summon in an allied army that will follow you around for a certain period of time, or unless it's destroyed, whilst getting lower and lower on the fightiness bar will lead to your army fighting amongst themselves and eventually taking very high attrition damage. Fightiness should be reworked. The attrition damage for low fightiness should stay the same, but the reward for high fightiness should not actually summon in an allied army. These allied armies can be rather unpredictable and sometimes make the situation worse for you than you had planned. Instead, high fightiness should actually reward combat buffs to the army, making the Orcs and Goblins feel bigger than they actually are. This would give players more incentive to actually be in combat more often. If their Orc boys can start hitting like big uns and their big uns can start hitting like black Orcs, they will actually be more inclined to get into more combat. Don't worry about the war mechanic, we'll be covering that a bit later. Next we have to talk about their unit varieties. This is the reskin of all reskins, but I feel it's actually really needed. The Orcs and Goblins have by far one of the largest rosters in Warhammer Fantasy, mainly because most of their stuff is actually reskinned into other aspects. There are many sub-races in the Orcs and Goblins where we have Goblins, Forest Goblins, Night Goblins, Orcs, Savage Orcs, Black Orcs, and so on. So far we have nothing close to the full roster, and it's understandable considering a lot of the stuff is actually reskinned. For example, Lord choices, Hero choices, Unit choices, they're essentially the same unit, just changed slightly with maybe some different stuff to them. While people aren't really fans of reskins, these are a reskin that should actually be added. We should be able to field full complete armies of Night Goblins, or maybe full complete armies of Savage Orcs rather than mixing them up with Standard Orcs. It's more thematic for people who like to field theme armies such as myself, and it is very lore friendly. I feel like in this case, reskins are generally okay. These are the Orcs and Goblins after all, there need to be loads and loads and loads of unit choices, we need to be spoilt. But moving on, let's look at the tech tree. The building requirement is ridiculous. Sometimes it can take a while till you actually get those buildings up and running, which means that on occasion you'll actually be very far behind as compared to the other races, meaning that you'll actually be quite weak compared to them. The building requirement should be removed, and the technology should actually take a lot longer to actually research. Instead, research could be heightened by getting into more fights. The more you win, the faster you get a bonus on it. Say for example, every time that you win you get a 5% bonus to your research speed. This bonus could last for around 10 turns or so and could also be stackable. Once again pushing you to actually get into more combat. I know this is not the most ideal way for people to play a faction, but at the end of the day these are the Greenskins after all, and that's what they do, they like getting into fights. Next we're going to look at Gore. Gore needs to be buffed tremendously. He is the biggest boy around, he actually needs to be the most powerful legendary lord in terms of melee combat. I mean in the Storm of Chaos he even beats down Archaon. Doesn't even kill him or anything, he just proves that he was stronger. But right now Gore isn't really at his strongest point and he needs to be buffed up. In a perfect world we'd also see him moved because Black Crag really isn't his, but unfortunately it's already been established that in this canon he's taken over Black Crag. But now we can look towards Azag, who thankfully can be moved. And he should be moved further up north, relatively as close to Troll Country as possible, I'm hoping. That's where he actually found the Crown of Nagash, so it makes more sense lore-wise for him to be up there. Plus it would give the Greenskin players who actually play as Azag a reason to build up and get ready for the Chaos Invasion. That's generally considered the biggest fight of them all, so you could have a lot of fun with that. Unfortunately Chaos at the moment is very weak, but that's a topic for another day. Wherzag I think is actually okay, and I wouldn't really change too much, barring making the Savage Orcs even cheaper for him to recruit to give more incentive to recruit a Savage Orc army. But that's pretty much it. Skarsnik, on the other hand, needs a radical change. He is right now very weak and it takes a while to actually get anything done. Goblins should be buffed a bit when actually using Goblin Lords. Nothing too radical, but actually making them a little bit stronger might be a bit better. They're not really at their best at the moment, and it really clearly shows. And finally, what I'd like to see implemented is a Great War. So this idea is a brand new resource pool. The more fights you get into and the more fights that you actually win, the more war power that you'd actually receive. Losing any fights or any territories would also reduce the amount of war power you actually have. As you get more and more war power, you would eventually unlock special faction-wide bonuses. The bonuses could be as follows. The first bonus could be a massive faction-wide buff to public order, considering the fact that you're going to be moving around a lot and capturing loads of new territories. This would be maybe +8 public order faction-wide, but this could only be achieved after 50 consecutive wins. Something like that would really help you out, especially as the Greenskins, where you're trying to keep fightiness up, you might as well have some bonuses to public order. The second bonus could improve the campaign movement range of armies, guaranteeing that they'll get into fights a lot quicker. A third bonus could be a diplomatic increase with all the other Greenskin tribes. The fourth could be a upkeep reduction to all the units, representing all the gathering masses coming to the now very well known war boss. And the fifth could be an even greater reduction to upkeep. Naturally, these would take a while to actually unlock, so don't expect them getting early game. Lastly, like the Norskins, I believe that the Greenskins should be able to confederate if they beat the leader of a different tribe. This is actually established in the lore, where different war bosses will fight amongst each other with their tribes warring against each other, and the victor normally absorbs the other tribe into his own. Eventually, all these tribes together form a massive war which wreak havoc across the Warhammer world. Honestly, I believe this is a mechanic that should have been implemented since day one, but hey, you know? They probably didn't think of it, and maybe this gives them a suggestion? I don't know. But with that, those are all the ideas I have in regards to a Greenskin rework. What do you guys think, and what would you implement instead? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a discussion, shall we? But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description below are various links to various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team and talk to us about anything to do with Warhammer, or anything else for that matter. Also in the description below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you can buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Using our special link and also using our special code that is also in the description supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel grow and get to a high level of content. A big thank you to our patron Gibraltar LUSC for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, mate, you're super cool. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's amazing to see the channel grow so much as it's been doing lately. We're building a small community here with loads of Warhammer fans worldwide. I couldn't ask for something cooler to do. But with that, my friends, thank you for watching once again, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.